Have you ever stood at the edge of an untouched old-growth forest and wondered, how does a place where no one has ever sown a single grain of fertilizer, where no machine has ever tilled the earth, possess such fierce and untamed vitality? The forest never exhausts its nourishment, for nature operates as an eternal, unbroken cycle. By learning from this ancient wisdom and embracing the quiet, grounded philosophy of the Amish farmer, we can completely sever our dependence on industrial products. We can return to our own backyards, a living, pitch-black loam that breathes in a steady, rhythmic pulse, overflowing with life force. Together, we will build a self-sustaining biological loop that yields abundance 365 days a year, at the most primal cost of all, zero. To begin this journey of creation, our first step is not into the garden, but into the depths of our own awareness. We must draw a clear boundary between dead dirt and living soil. In the 1950s, as the Green Revolution erupted, the world shifted toward cultivation heavily reliant upon synthetic fertilizers and relentless mechanization. Dead dirt is the tragic legacy of that era, the inert, lifeless matter left behind after the fragile microecosystem was unintentionally decimated by artificial intervention. In stark contrast, the Amish communities that settled in Pennsylvania in the 1700s have continuously guarded a priceless treasure, living soil. To them, the earth is not unfeeling matter. It is a magnificent, breathing organism with a heartbeat every second. Imagine your garden as a biological bank account. The vast majority of modern humanity focuses only on extraction. They harvest the plump, sun-drenched tomatoes they ruthlessly uproot. Every wild weed they sweep away, every fallen leaf, into a trash bin, only to stare in bewilderment when their earthen account falls into a barren overdraft. To compensate, they turn to the artificial crutch of industrial fertilizers. But true abundance is not manufactured in a factory. It is architected by a subterranean workforce so diligent it borders on the surreal. Science has proven that within a single teaspoon of healthy, friable humus, the number of residing organisms far outnumbers the entire human population on this planet. This unseen army is composed of resilient bacteria stretching mycorrhizal fungal threads and tireless microbes. They are nature's most brilliant chemists. They possess the power to secrete enzymes that dissolve dry, stubborn minerals into liquid phosphorus. They interact with the very air above, which holds 78% nitrogen, and harvest that vital life energy, delivering it directly into the hands of the plant's roots entirely for free. Why is this majestic army not yet working for you? Simply because you have not yet provided the right conditions, and more importantly, you have not yet built them a home. To cultivate a garden at zero cost and awaken this microscopic workforce, we must gracefully let go of our role as harsh dominators and learn to become quiet companions to the microbial world. For this army to flourish radiantly, we need only provide three primal elements: shelter, water, and carbon. The first strategy is to harness the boundless resources nature already provides. Natural carbon. If microbes are the laborers, then carbon is the deep nourishment that sustains them. In our hurried, consumer-driven world, we often mistake carbon for trash. Every autumn, we rake fallen leaves into bags and abandon them by the roadside. We haul grass clippings to the landfill. We set fire to freshly pruned dry branches. In a true ecological garden, this squandering is unthinkable. Every single fallen leaf is not refuse. It is a fragile biological solar panel. While still clinging to the branch, it silently captured the sun's radiant energy, drawing carbon from the air and locking it away in the form of rich organic matter. When you discard a pile of dry leaves, you are throwing away an entirely free source of captured sunlight. Amish farmers profoundly understand this, gracefully applying the practice of blanketing to shelter Mother Earth. Observe the ancient forest floor. It is never left bare. It is perpetually embraced by a soft velvet carpet of dry twigs, decaying leaves, and rich leaf mold. Begin to gather this very abundance. Ask for used coffee grounds from local roasteries, a hidden treasure trove brimming with natural nitrogen. Welcome the wood chips left behind by local arborists, and above all, gather the dry, whispering leaves of autumn. When you take this organic blanket and spread it into a thick 10-inch layer across the bare earth, you are not merely offering cool shade. You are constructing a natural, biological composting layer that quietly releases energy right where it rests. Every time the raindrops fall and filter through this thick blanket, they brew a deeply mineral-rich tea that percolates down into the veins of the earth. You no longer need to toil against endless garden woes. You are silently recharging the entire biological energy grid of your homestead. Once the earth has been warmly blanketed, we move to the second strategy, the architecture of chop and drop. The modern human aesthetic often craves a garden as tidy as a sterile painting with rigidly straight rows and bare, exposed dirt pathways. That forced aesthetic frequently breeds profound ecological poverty. In a truly self-sustaining space, we require the presence of nature's own mineral pumps, dynamic accumulator plants. These might be comfrey, mulberry trees, or even humble, wild foragers like the dandelion. Creation gifted them with a magnificent plunging taproot that pierces through the topsoil to reach deep into the subsoil below. There they silently mine hidden deposits of natural calcium, magnesium, and potassium, pumping them upward to be stored within their dense green foliage. When these plants reach their most lush and vibrant state, the farmer takes a pair of shears, cuts those heavy leaves, and lets them gracefully fall exactly where they stand, blanketing the base of heavy feeding crops like heirloom apples, pears, or tomatoes. In this way, we are spared the grueling labor of hauling compost across the farm. We are physically growing our own fertilizer in the precise location where it is needed most. This is the art of flawless biological integration. The plants take on the heavy lifting of deep soil mining the sun provides, an eternal flow of energy, and your only task is to act as the quiet conductor of this rhythm, holding a pair of shears. You are harvesting the essence of the sky and the depths of the earth to nourish the surface, costing nothing, demanding no transportation energy, and producing zero waste. Dear friend, as we reflect together upon the gentle heartbeat of Mother Earth and the quiet endurance of traditional farmers, perhaps you too can feel a soft, purifying stillness washing over your mind. If you are someone who constantly yearns to return to a life of true self-reliance, seeking to cast off the deafening noise of the outside world, to cultivate a healing garden with your own hands, then we are walking the same tranquil path. Please take a peaceful moment to gently press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your presence and your rustic, heartfelt comments are the most profound source of motivation, giving me the energy to continue sharing these traditional ecological legacies, placing the heirloom seeds of freedom safely back into your hands. Now we step into the very heart of this prosperity, the natural sources of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the green lifeblood of the garden. It is the elemental spark that triggers the bursting of new shoots, bestowing a deep, proud green upon the canopy and fueling an explosion of vital sap. In 1909, the Haber-Bosch process was born, marking the moment humanity discovered how to artificially synthesize nitrogen within roaring industrial factories. It became the foundational ingredient in bags of chemical fertilizer. Yet, as I shared earlier, you are actually standing beneath a vast, invisible ocean of natural nitrogen. With every breath you take, 78% of the air filling your lungs is nitrogen gas. Nature solved this puzzle millions of years ago through a breathtaking alliance known as symbiosis. Botanical members of the legume family, like sweet winter peas, crimson clover, or woody trees like the black locust, have forged a bond with a natural bacterium called rhizobium. The plant harnesses the sunlight to photosynthesize, crafting sweet sugars and exuding them deep into the soil to feed the bacteria. In a graceful exchange, the rhizobium clings to the plant's roots, forming tiny nodules. They pull gaseous nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, transmuting it into an organic, bioavailable form of nourishment that the roots can drink in immediately. In a garden that yields to nature, we never allow a plant to stand in isolation. The Amish carry forward the ancient art of sustainable companion planting. If they sow a kernel of heirloom corn, they will plant a climbing bean directly at its base. If they plant a young apple sapling, they will sow a living carpet of clover all around it. These nitrogen-fixing crops operate as biological fueling stations. Every time you prune their leafy canopies, a portion of their root system beneath the earth naturally dies back, releasing a pure stream of nitrogen directly into the surrounding soil to nourish the neighboring crops. It is a method of fertilization so precise, so incredibly gentle, that no synthetic chemical compound could ever hope to rival it. No biological system can thrive in steady balance without the rhythmic flow of water. Bacteria and mycorrhizal fungi require moisture to weave their delicate threads of connection through the earthen veins. When the soil turns painfully dry, the natural nutrient exchange system grinds to a halt. This is where the fourth strategy emerges: regulating the flow of water through the graceful curves of swales. Swales are not your ordinary drainage ditches. They are shallow, level trenches, carefully carved along the natural contour lines of the landscape, ensuring absolute stabilizing flatness. When the heavy summer rains pour down, the water does not rush away, stripping the precious topsoil and fertile nutrients with it. Instead, these swales catch the rainfall, gently pressing it to percolate deep into the subsoil below. They engineer a slow-moving plume of moisture, silently hydrating the roots of your crops for weeks, long after the rain has passed. This steady, enduring dampness transforms your garden into a highly efficient, self-hydrating environment. By marrying these contour swales with a thick, heavy mulch of straw, you have successfully crafted a resilient microclimate, keeping the earth profoundly cool and moist even when blistering heat waves strike. You have gracefully leaned into the very gravity of the earth to regulate an eternal wellspring for your homestead. Take a moment to admire how this ecosystem operates with quiet perfection across a 12-month cycle. In the depths of winter, as the outside world sinks into a freezing, dormant slumber, you are silently stockpiling abundance. Beneath the warm blanket of straw, earthworms labor tirelessly, digesting the rustic kitchen scraps and organic fruit peels you have thoughtfully gifted them. You are quietly building a massive reserve of nourishment. As the frost thaws and spring awakens, the legumes begin to form their nodules, infusing the earth with nitrogen to rouse the sleeping blossoms. You do not need to force the plants. They are surging upward, fueled by a natural biological momentum you carefully seeded the season prior. Beneath the sweltering blaze of the summer sun, the swales cool the deep earth, warding off the wilt while you unhurriedly perform the ritual of chopping and dropping comfrey leaves at the feet of your heirloom tomatoes. And when autumn returns, you harvest the fruits of your labor, but you absolutely never strip the earth bare. You leave the bean roots buried in the loam to decay and release their natural nitrogen. You allow the withered vines to collapse where they stand, transforming into a fresh layer of mulch. You venture out to gather the fallen, dry leaves, bringing them home to warmly cradle Mother Earth. The circle of life closes flawlessly. The garden has nourished you, and now you are using your quiet stewardship to nourish the garden in return. Our heavy reliance on industrial fertilizers often stems from simply unintentionally forgetting the boundless resources nature already provides. It makes us forget that the atmosphere holds a vast ocean of natural nitrogen, that the deep earth hoards ancient minerals, and that the very concept of waste is merely a tragic misunderstanding born of modern habits. When you build a zero-cost garden with your own hands, you are enacting a quiet revolution, one that carries an immeasurable, enduring value. You are proving to the world that true abundance is the fruit of intelligent design working in harmony with nature, not something dictated by the depth of one's wallet. A bag of chemical fertilizer offers only a fleeting burst of green today, yet it easily leaves behind an exhausted, barren plot of land tomorrow if overused. In stark contrast, a self-sustaining ecosystem is a lasting heirloom for the future. With each passing year, the humus will grow darker and more fertile. The earthworms will multiply by the thousands, and the garden will become so fiercely resilient that it practically balances itself, free from your constant intervention. You are no longer an exhausted gardener wrestling against the tides of nature. You have become a harmonious conductor, guiding the quiet symphony of life. Step out into the open air, pick up a single dry leaf, trace a small furrow in the soil, and sow a humble bean. The journey of healing begins deep beneath the earth, and Mother Earth is always there, waiting with boundless grace for your return.